Doug Hasty here, Down to Earth Golf. This video is more about club face control and letting you get a system for trying to make sure that you know what that club face is doing. So first of all, let's go through a few definitions and certain things you might hear. So I think everybody knows, but just to make sure, that's a square club face when that face is pointing straight up and down. I'm looking at that leading edge right there, okay? That would be called closed. That would be called open. So for a right-handed golfer, aim to the target. My target is that alignment stick. Is square. Going to the right is open. Going to the left is closed. Okay. Simple enough. Usually we can say that the club face is open, square, or closed at any point during the golf swing. And there'll be arguments about what is open, square, and closed depending on who you talk to. But let's just give you an example. So I'm set up here with a square club face. If I bring the club to where it's waist high, let me move forward here a little bit so it's centered. There we go, okay? Some people would say, some instructors would say that when that club face is straight up and down, that's square. Some would say that if it matches the angle of my spine, that's square, okay? But either way, we could say that it's square. I kind of like that as square, open, closed. Now, why do we say these things? Well, it's really because as I turn, if I keep my wrists in the good conditions, okay, so look up wrist conditions if you're not sure what I'm talking about. If I keep my wrists in the good conditions, that club face will be in a certain position. So let's do that right now. If you watch my other video, where I touched on wrist conditions, if I set that club there with that flat left wrist nice and flat, or even a little bit bowed, okay, that right wrist bent. If I bring it back to waist high, that puts it in that parallel to my spine angle position, approximately. And that would be where I would call square. If I bring it up to the top of the swing, a lot of people would say if that club face, I'm not sure if you can see this or not, if that club face is parallel to my left arm, that would be square. So there's no wonder that this gets confusing. At the end of the day, what I'm saying to you is that I'd much rather, if we call that square, where that club face is parallel to my left arm, left forearm, if we say that that's square, I'd much rather see it in a square or closed position than in an open position. Okay? Because in my world, if it's a little bit closed, in quotes, you're going to have an easier time having it be square at the ball than if it's open and you've got to fix that on the way down and somehow close it up, consciously. At the end of the day, ideally, I want to have my wrist conditions and I want to train my wrists and my forearms to get that club face back to square at the ball without having to think about it. Now, if you're one of the majority of golfers that club face comes back to the ball open, especially relative to the target or relative to the path, then we really want to make sure those wrist conditions, and we want to make sure the wrists work through the ball properly. So if you've watched other videos, you should know that the club face, when it hits the ball, is the main determinant of starting direction. So let's just say it is. Let's just say that starting direction is determined by club face. Just to make it simpler, okay? If your ball starts to the right, that means the club face is open when it hits the ball. If your ball starts to the left, that means the club face is closed, and it gets as relative to the target line. So if you're one of those people that the ball starts to the right often, I want you to know that club face is coming into the ball open. Let's talk about how it's actually coming into the ball. We want it to come into the ball like that. There's good impact. Okay, my hands are in front of the ball. It's kind of a straight line from my left shoulder down to the club head, and the club face is square. Now, what a lot of people think they're doing when they start hitting it to the right and they know the club face is open, is they think that they're doing this, and their hands are too far ahead and leaving the club face open. I'm going to tell you that's probably not the case. I've taught, 5,000 people in my life, and I've seen somebody with their hands too far ahead of the ball 4 times. I've seen 4 players with their hands too far in front of the golf ball, and I'll tell you what, all of them could beat me very easily. They're very, very good players, and their ball didn't start to the right. It's very rare to see that. I'm not saying it's not possible, I'm saying it's very, very rare. what's most likely, and I please put your swing on video to convince yourself you want, get some slow motion on an iPhone, whatever you got, and see. And I'm pretty sure that you're going to see it come down and impact to look something like this. That's most likely what you're going to see. And that impact will send the ball high and to the right. You hardly ever see it go low to the right. You almost always see it go high to the right. And that's because impact is like that and not like that. And that's because your wrists are moving through the ball. Instead of moving through the ball like so, they're moving through the ball like this. Okay? There's a few things you want to check if that's the case. Are you actually pushing the club with that right wrist if you're a right-hand golfer? With your trail hand, are you actually pushing it? Are you using these muscles here? Probably you are. And this is not good. This is okay. Now, telling you not to do this usually doesn't work. So what usually does work to fix this is to get somebody to put their right wrist in a bent position, keep it in a bent position, and try to rotate it like this. Try to do that on your own, just that. Do it from the side. That rotation there. I would say that's rotating your forearm. Notice I'm not moving my hand anywhere, I'm just rotating it. You want to do with your left hand? Flat left wrist, or even bowed left wrist, rotation. If you can teach yourself to get away from this and get into this, your golfing life is going to be so much more fun. It really is, okay? It's so important. So what I challenge you to do is to feel that rotation and make that ball start left. Make it go low and left. Challenge yourself. Take a 7-iron and try to hit that ball low and left. That's really important for you to try to do that. If you can do that, pretty sure you're going to be able to find straight. So how do you do that again? Well, you rotate. You rotate. Next question I get is, when do I rotate? Well, not at the ball. I want you to feel like you rotate it way back here. Right about there is the feel for most people. Is that the reality? No. But that's the feel for most people. It's right about there in the downswing. They feel like they have to start to rotate that club face. So even if you feel like you're going to come down, and to really exaggerate it, feel like you're going to hit the ball with the toe of the golf club. That'd be a really big rotation. But if you can't make it happen, if your ball keeps going to the right, try it. Try to actually physically try to hit that ball with the toe of the golf course. Sorry, with the toe of the golf club. Okay? That's, I've had to do that with some people, and it's worked. Get that ball to go low and left. Now, if your ball already goes left, you're like, oh, what am I doing? Okay, most likely for you, that club face is closed in your backswing and coming down. So what would that look like? Well, if you put your swing on video, that would look something like this. That would be a very closed club face at that position. At the top of the swing, it'd be something like that. That'd be very closed. So maybe not there, but you know, there's a good position. That's pretty closed. Now what can happen is if you're that close in the backswing, when you come down, it's closed when it gets to the ball and the ball goes left. So usually, and I'm going to say 90% or over 90% of the cases, the ball started to the right, club face is open, and the fix is to try to rotate those forearms coming into the ball and square up that club face. Now, I should say this is assuming you have a good grip. If you have a bad grip, look at that first. First look at your grip. Okay, but assuming you have a good setup, good grip, I want you to check and try rotating those forearms. If the ball starts left, most likely you've got a closed club face in your backswing. So ball starting left is usually a backswing fix, fixing what the wrists and hands do and wrist conditions in the backswing. Something going to the right is fixing those wrist conditions on the downswing. Usually the backswing is okay, but if you've got a really open club face in the backswing, obviously you want to check that. So again, I challenge you from a nice square setup to be able to start the ball straight, to be able to start the ball to the right, to be able to start the ball to the left. If you can do that, that shows club face awareness, and you're on your way to becoming a great golfer.